Well, I did wonder if I'd be able to talk to you from outside this morning due to all of the rain and the thunder and all of the promised weather, none of which has happened. So it's another really warm, muggy day. So there's no sun, but it's really muggy. So there's your weather report to get us going on Tuesday. We've got lots planned today. I was planning a day in the kitchen, given that it's supposed to be raining all day. So that's kind of what I'm going to be planning around, and we're finishing off with a roast dinner later on today. First of all, we need to go and pick up some more animal food. I thought I had another bag. We've run out for the chickens, which is unbelievable because I hate running out. So we're going to go get another couple of bags of that. And we noticed last time we were in there that they also sell the, is it the big 5 litre containers of washing up liquid and, you know, washing up liquid as in your fairy liquid. And for your pots and things. What's the other stuff? The detergent, the laundry liquid, that's what I'm trying to think of. So, sorry, I've only had one coffee. So I'm going to look and compare the prices there as well for when we get this challenge started. The challenge is more around groceries for the £25 a week that we've got coming up. But it is bigger than that. It's all around household management and things like that as well. Because there's no point in spending £25 a week on our groceries if we're blowing it on, you know, £100 on something else that's not needed. So it is bigger than just that. So I'm going to have a little look. We'll get some prices compared and we'll get the chicken food while we're there. So I'm going to go get another cup of coffee, wake the kids up because it's still very early, so I don't want to wake them up too early, and we'll get busy. We've got a big preserving day coming up as well, even though it's not raining, but it does mean that I'll hopefully be able to get the rest of those potatoes that I didn't get yesterday. It's blue sky, so it doesn't look it too much on the camera, but trust me, there's blue in there. Before we get started with the preserving today, we're going to go and grab the Lay's pellets so that the kids can get busy and get those animals fed. So we'll take you along to the shop where we get the Lay's pellets from, and I'll show you what I was talking about for the laundry and detergent and the liquid, the washing up liquid and things like that too. Just got back, apologies, I totally forgot to get any footage when we were in the shop, so I'm going to show you what we've got and tell you a couple of my thoughts around it, if you can hear me over the ducks who know there's food coming. We've got the Lay's pellets, which is still £10.99, so that is a lot more expensive than they used to be, but at least those prices aren't going up anymore. And then we've tried a couple of these. So this is the washing up liquid. This was £1, I think. It was anyway. They sell these, so this is a 1 litre for £1, and they sell 5 litres for £4. So if it's any good, we'll get the bigger one. And the other thing we tried is this bio laundry liquid. I always get bio because our clothes are always needing a good scrub. This is 1 litre and it was £2, but the 5 litre one was £6.99, so £7. That works out a lot cheaper. Because the other one is 140 wash, this is 28, and it's a lot cheaper however you dice it up, if that's any good for our clothes. Now skin, we'll wait and see. And then this is kind of their the Astonish brand, but it's like the Febreze, which we use quite a lot of, having the dogs and things like that. And this was £1.49, which is still cheaper than the Febreze brand. So if it's any good, we'll get this again. So I thought I'd just get them to try for now. But Grace and Jack are going to go and get the animals fed because we've got 2 bags of Lay's that'll last us at least the rest of this week, thankfully. And Grace is going to grab the eggs as well for me. Well, the rain came and I didn't get the washing in time, but I've got some good news. Grace and I have been through the freezers. I've now got a full inventory of the 2 chest freezers. It took us pretty much all morning. It was a 2-hour plus long job. She's written it all down for me, and I just went through 2 or 3 different pairs of gloves because we were getting so cold and so wet. So I'm going to, Jack, while we were doing that, Jack was doing another job in the garage, meaning I can get to the shelves now where the jars are. I think I've run out of the smaller jars, which I'm using for jams. So I'm going to go and have a look. And I'm hoping that this washing's going to dry in the meantime to like my extended clothesline. Because, yeah, then I can get that in later. But if I haven't got any small jars for the bramble jelly that I'm making, and lots of other things this afternoon, I'm going to have to figure something out. So I'll show you what we've been up to. So these are the 2 freezers. They're both the same, Fridge Master make. We got these in this house. We paid for them, obviously. We got these in this house and they've been fantastic, so they do fantastically well. I've got some brambles here which are just freezing. They will go in a bag and they'll stay in the freezer, just so I've got some to come to. But in here, oh my goodness, it's a supermarket's worth of items. Honestly, we've got so many different things in here. There's from chicken drumsticks through to lamb joints to a zillion chicken wings, different cuts of meat. We've got the ham, we've got some whole chickens. all sorts of good stuff. So anyway, that's all written down now, and I'm going to be menu planning from this for, well, now for the next forever, because this is what part of the challenge is. Let me show you the other one. So this is mostly the pigs that we've had back. So as you can see, there's all the sausages, all that good stuff. I've actually put the pork chops and the some ribs and belly pork slices just in a bag so that it's easy to get to. Now, if I want to get to what's underneath these, I can just lift that bag out, makes life a little bit easier. We've just got so many different chicken pieces, it's unbelievable. Where did I get that from? Please go back. All sorts of good stuff. Stuff that I'd forgotten about. I thought we'd run out of beef. We've got loads. So genuinely will not need to be buying any meat for, well, for the whole of the challenge. It's 35 weeks long, starting at the beginning of September or the 30th of August, and runs right through to April of next year. There's just no need for us to buy any meat. Yeah, it's just, some of it is actually, can you see how this is just the new sausages, and they've actually been split during storage, so we'll be getting to those first. But these aren't the only freezers either. We've got the freezers in the stores and in the kitchen. Sorry, I'm just in the garage. That's where these two freezers are. So these are our main chest freezers. The freezer that we've got in stores, if you remember, we've got the fridge freezer, the American type, you know, the 1.5, so it's a full fridge and a half skinny freezer. That's in stores. I haven't done an inventory of that. I'm just going to chip away at that as I can, and I'd like that to become more of our garden produce, fresh vegetables and fruits and things like that. And the one in the house is only quite small. I guess it's just a normal size freezer. It's a 1.5 again, so the fridge is a 1, and then it's a kind of a half size freezer. I think 70/30, is that what they're called? That's not 1.5, is it? Anyway, you know what I mean. So that's what we've got in the kitchen. And again, I'll chip away at that. It's full mostly with bacon from the pigs that we've just done. There's a few bits and pieces of veg in there and all that kind of stuff. But like I say, I'll go into that when I get onto my challenge and start doing the videos specifically for that. But for now, I do need to do a menu plan for the next week or so to see us through. So I'll take the weather into account, what we've got in the garden and all that good stuff. But this gives me a base point to start from, to say, well, what meat do we fancy? But to be quite honest, apart from chicken breasts, which I know is the most common meat for a lot of people, we've got everything we could want, really. So we're not going to be struggling for choice, shall we say, on the challenge. So I'm very pleased with that. But behind me are the shelves. That's the freezer that we've just emptied. Sorry for stopping halfway through a sentence. That's the freezer that we've just emptied. We will be keeping that, obviously. But yeah, that's switched off, so hopefully we'll be seeing the benefits of that in the electricity. But what I was saying is Jack has been working on tidying up over here so I can get to my shelves, which are just covered up by a little curtain. I'll show you where we've got all of the jars and things. So don't worry, this isn't a security risk. I'm not showing you anything that's worth anything. Well, like, jars are worth a fortune to me. But, oh, do you like Stephen's? He's just made this box, bless him. How cute's that? People would pay a fortune for that. There's nothing in it. It's just a nice box to have, and we're going to be something to display. Anyway, behind here, I haven't looked in here for absolutely ages, but basically we've got different jars, and these shelves could do with a good sort out. You can see I've got some jars that haven't been used, some of them have. Empty wine bottles. I've had to drink wine, unfortunately, so that we can use the bottles for gin in the winter. Yeah, all that good stuff. So again, that's an old incubator. There's just all sorts of stuff here. And I need to see if we've got any of the jars in these boxes, which are the ones that I did on my last order, that are the 300ml size, or something that's going to be suitable for you doing the bramble jelly, which is what I want to get done next. But we have got quite a few to choose from, so even if I don't have any small ones, I'm sure we can figure something out. Now you can see all this mess why we've got these curtains. Like I say, no secrets, just hides the mess. So I found some used but perfectly reusable jars that were actually gifted to us. Somebody had finished with them. They were using them as Christmas displays or something. So I don't think they've actually been used with the lids properly. I think they've just been filled with stuff. So I'm going to give these a good wash, get the labels off, or I might even leave them on, we'll see. And these are going to be perfect for the bramble jelly. So I've got a few of those, and I've just got some ones that have obviously been used from the shops with the old lids on. I'm fine with using jam lids sometimes. I'll always just end up using the reused ones first. But as I say, don't think these have been used. That's just perfect. So I'm going to get these curtain closed, and I'm going to get these taken in and get on with that jelly. I've just washed those up, sorry, the light's terrible. And actually, I don't think they've been used. One of the lids is a little bit dodgy. I'll just mark that to make sure that we use that first and we don't give it away. But this here is what I'm going to show you just before I get started with the jelly, because this is the results of the freezer sort out. Where do you start? So I have taken out lots of chicken thighs that I know that I want to do some canning recipes with tomorrow. So Jack and I have got a day planned out tomorrow, which is Wednesday. So we'll be out most of the day, and then I've got to pick Grace up and do taxi of mum later on. So before tea time, not later on the night. So that's all fine, that's all good. But what that means is that I won't be in the house to get things done in the house, preserving and kitchen guard and things like that wise. And the reason I'm smiling is that I always do this. I end up setting myself up for a fail. It won't be a fail though, it's going to be fantastic. I have got meat here that some of it is carcasses, chicken carcasses that I'm going to make stock with, and then we're going to can the stock, and that's all going to be fine. All tattered doing that. Chicken thighs, I've not canned with chicken thighs before. I've done lots of different meats before, but they're going to need boning out, and we'll then make a recipe with them. Fine with that, apart from the boning out. I hope Stephen will be around to do that, because otherwise it'll take me like 50 times longer than him. But fine with that. But we also have a load of goodness knows what, literally. So I have been getting better at labelling, and everything that goes in now I do label, but there is about a year's worth of stuff that's unlabelled that I thought, oh, I'll know what it is when I get to it. I don't. So this is a prime example. I have no idea what this is. Maybe it's ribs, actually. Maybe it's ribs. Do you know what? I think it's ribs. So it looks like we might be having ribs on the menu this week. But there is a lot of things that the chicken pieces that have got freezer burnt, I'm quite happy just to use them for stock. No problems with doing that. These are all of the thighs, chicken thighs and things like that in there. And where I've had wings and tips of chickens and things like that that are just not being stood the test of the time in the freezer, because I do find, as good as these Wilko bags are, the cheaper ones, they don't stop things from getting freezer burned. So what I've done, I've invested in backpack bags, and we'll be using those moving forward. They do stop a lot more freezer burn, and they're reusable, so I'm getting away from the single plastics where I can. Anyway, I digress. So all of the different chicken pieces, I think this is, anyway, that will all be going into stock, but there are some things that I genuinely don't know what it is. This is another one, could be rabbit. Actually, I think it's more ribs. So I might put them back in, because I don't want 2 lots of ribs in 1 week. But the stuff that is so freezer burned that I just can't tell what it is, will be going to the dogs. The dogs will be very thankful for that. And obviously we need to make sure these guys are fed as well. And this here, I'm not sure what this is. Sorry if that's really noisy, by the way. Not sure what that is. Maybe it's half a chicken. So what we'll do, where I can, I'll be using this for the human meals, and the thighs, etc. will all be going onto the shelves, because I'm wanting to be less and less reliant on the freezers. We actually had a power cut last night. So it was, what time was it? We got a text message. Hang on, let me turn you around so you're not just looking at that. We got a text message from Northern Power Grid. I didn't read it till this morning at midnight, saying that the power's gone out, and they're very sorry, as always. We do actually get quite a few power outages here. You've probably seen that before when I've talked about it, or on Instagram and things like that. And we've talked about getting a generator. Well, that was a little bit cost prohibitive, because the one that we wanted that would just kick in if the power went out was cost prohibitive. Because, for example, last night when we were in bed, we didn't even know the power had gone out, so we couldn't come down and switch it over manually for the freezers to another Jenny. So we don't know, we've had lots of different thoughts about that, but the upshot is we're trying to be less reliant on the freezers. It's going to take a lot of getting through. I'm not in a rush to get through them, because it's fantastic having them full, and that's the whole point of what we've done. But times are changing, as we know, and we need to move away from that reliance. We, being us, not you guys, as always. I'm not telling anybody else what they should be doing, but we absolutely want to move away from that reliance. And the power cut lasted until, I think it was about 7:30. No, it was 6 o'clock, I'm exaggerating. It was 6 hours. You know, so if we had things under heat, so chicks, meat birds, if it went on longer for the freezers and all that thing, all that good stuff, it's impacting. Thankfully, we don't have any medical equipment or anything like that, which some people do, which is really distressing. But anyway, I'm rambling. You get the point. We want to use as much as we can in the freezers and get it on the shelf. as shelf stable food through the pressure canning or dehydrating process. I'm not going to be getting a freeze dryer or anything like that. That is a step too far price wise for us. So this food here will either be for teas this week, for the dogs, or it'll be getting pressure canned, and I'll show you what we do with it over the course of the vlogs and things like that. But for now, I will get started with that bramble jelly, otherwise it'll never get done. Now, no judgment on the pot, please. So this is a much loved, very old Dutch oven that I actually use for my sourdough bread because it's at such high temperatures. I find that it changes the colour of the Dutch ovens, and you can't get this sort of burned, I don't know what it is because it's always got the lid on anyway. So this has been used for many, many, many years. It's got red cabbage that's stained it. It's got all different kind of things. It's been loved and scrubbed, but this is the colour that it is. Now, what I want to say to make the bramble jelly, I always use this because I'm bothered that it'll stain my other Dutch ovens, which have got the cream ceramic interior. Could use the cast iron one, but I'm not going to because it's a little bit smaller, and this one is actually the biggest one that I've got. So I'll be using this. And I'm not going to show you the whole process because I'm actually going to do a separate video on it, but I'll show you the end result. Time to fill the dehydrator up now. So I affectionately nicknamed her Gertie, so she is a new to me dehydrator, so we're learning together. I've got some tomatoes. These are on Super 6 in Aldi at the moment, so they're just the standard kind of salady type tomatoes, nothing fancy. Just as ours is starting to ripen in the greenhouse, I wanted to get as many dehydrated as we could ready for the winter. Again, it's all about preparing for the winter for these couple of weeks. So I'm just going to load these up with some Italian seasoning, some nutritional yeast, salt, maybe some garlic granules, or in fact I'll probably use garlic salt, things like that, just to give them some flavour, and then they'll be good on the shelf, hopefully for a good while yet. I'll be getting some in jars. I might vacuum seal some, we'll see. But these guys are just so cheap at the moment that I thought I can trial it with the ones that I haven't grown. And then if it goes wrong, I won't feel as bad. So I've got 8 trays because I've got 1 tray with something else on. I'm going to get those sliced and diced now, get them loaded up. Well, I have sliced and diced numerous tomatoes, and this is what they're looking like. These are actually the tops and the bottoms, so I'm going to powder these when they're dried. These are the tomatoes, and some I've done basil, nutritional yeast, salt, pepper. Some of them I've just done completely plain. All kinds of different variations going on there. So they should be really nice just to snack on, and also just for storage. So I'm going to leave those in for 8 hours on about 52 degrees Celsius. I had to put my phone on charge because I'm using it that much whilst I'm doing the videos and everything. I've just done a little blog post, dear me, all this new technology. And I had the bright idea, so obviously I've had the brambles on, the berries, in my Dutch oven that I showed you, and they're just cooling because they were far too hot to handle. But we have where's it gone? We have a juicer. It's actually dismantled because I've used it. I had the bright idea, or I hope it's a bright idea, that I could just juice the brambles. So people use these steam juicers, and people keep saying to me, oh, you should get one. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute, we've already got the juicer. Stephen got it last year thinking that we could do the tomatoes with it. But it was actually a mouli, a food mill, that I was looking for. We will still try that though for the tomatoes. And it's worked fantastically, or at least I think it has. So this is what I got out of, can you see that there? That's better. So there was a full Pyrex jug, which is a 1 litre Pyrex jug, gently filled with brambles, and that's produced about 750 ml of juice. So I think that's great. So literally I'm going to use that, and I'll also do it normally using what I've done, the normal method that I've done there. But I'm also going to use that, add the sugar and just make the jelly from there, just boil it up, get it to setting point and pop it into the jars. So I'm really pleased with that. So if that works, I'll be able to do that more often, and it'll save me using, I mean, you literally use the juicer for, I don't know, 20 seconds or something like that. So it's not using a lot of electric, and it'll save me using the oven to simmer the berries on for an hour or so to extract the juice, and then you've got to wait for it to go through the jelly bag or the sieve or whatever. So I'm definitely going to try that in future, and it's another electricity saving method which I'm super pleased with, because after all, that's what it's all about just in this chapter of life, isn't it? Anyway, that's done now. Stephen's home from work, and the chicken that I was going to do for the roast chicken hasn't thoroughly defrosted. But seeing as it's just the 3 of us tonight and my daughter's out having so much fun, we've decided that we're going to go out and have a little bit of fun whilst we still can. I'm joking, we'll still have fun on our challenge, and go to the pub. So we're going to go and do that. I'm going to go out and water the greenhouse now, check things out there, take off a few dead leaves, that kind of thing. Might have a look at those potatoes. We'll see how much the little bit of rain that we've had, see how much it's made the ground wet. If it's too clarty, then I won't bother because I don't want to get filthy. Then we're going to go out for something to eat. So I'll end this here. Maybe show you a few things from the greenhouse. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.